Welcome to our foster parent training for March. I wanted to introduce our CEO, Becky Hobart. She does amazing things around here, and we have a ton of new homes.
Nice.
We licensed 14 in 2021, but interesting, 43% of our homes are as young as 2020. So we have a lot of new, so I wanted you to introduce yourself and let people know what we're about.
Great, thank you. Well, my name is Becky Hobart. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I've been with Ariel on and off since Ariel was founded 26 years ago. So that's been really quite the journey for me, and I just love it. I started out as a therapist and as a case manager when we totally just had all the case managers who were independent contractors, and that's how I started. And then over time I became a clinical consultant and consulted the case management team. I did that for a while, and then eventually I became the CEO, and it's been about 16 years that I've been the CEO now. So
you've done it all.
I've done, and I really appreciate that because it really has helped me keep in touch with what foster care is about, what case management's about, what the kids are like, what the foster parents need, all that stuff. So I feel really fortunate that I got to kind of come up through the ranks.
Yeah, you've been in the homes and you've been there and seen it. So
yeah, that's right.
So I wanted to touch base with you about our strategic plan, because I know that you guys have some exciting strategic plans that you came up with for this next couple of years.
Yeah, so we just recently went through this big process with all of our staff and exec and management and staff too, and we really looked at where do we want to go in the next 3 years. And so we're just starting out now in 2022, and this will go through the end of 2024. And one of the biggest things that's going on, both in child welfare and in our adults with developmental disability programs, is there's just sweeping kind of changes going on. And so we're really trying to gauge what those changes are going to look like over the next 3 years and be prepared for those changes as they come. In terms of foster care is going through big changes, and part of it is because the federal government and the state governments too are saying that they really want to try to keep kids at home safely if possible. And so that's the big push, and why it feels a little bit different to me this time around, because we've heard this before over the course of my years as a social worker.
Been there, done that.
We've kind of been there, done that. So it feels like, okay, this is an idea that's coming around again. And this time it feels more pertinent because the federal government really is funding more, putting more money into prevention services. And so there's a lot of effort around trying to keep kids at home. So we're going to see that shift. And how that's translating so far in Colorado is we're starting to see a little fewer referrals where it maybe their kids are coming in later in the game, like the family's maybe been referred several times for child protection issues before a child gets taken out of the home for foster care help. So there's just some differences that way. So we're starting to see a little drop in referrals, and we're also seeing a little more acuity with some of the issues that the foster care kids are presenting with, because they are exposed maybe more to unsafe circumstances for longer periods of time, or some of the interventions that were tried with the families maybe didn't work. And so you just see some kids that have just a little more trauma maybe, or more mental health issues or behavior issues. And so that's another pattern that we're starting to see now. And again, I would say that's not brand new. You know, many of you have been doing it for a while, know that that's kind of been happening over the last couple of years, and I think we're just can expect that we're going to see more of that.
Yeah.
So that's that family first legislation. So you'll hear that, you know, family first, and that's really what it's all about. It's all about trying to put more money into prevention. And also the other thing is they're trying to eliminate really care that they call congregate care, unless there's a specific reason to do it. And so congregate care is really group home care. They really don't want kids growing up in group homes. They want kids to grow up in families, in their families first, in kinship families probably second, and then third is going to be foster care. And then last is group home care. Now they did say we're going to make some exceptions to that. So group home care is okay for certain populations because we know that they struggle typically in foster care, like some very special needs kids, CHIRP, for example. They may not be able to always make in foster homes. So places like Sprite House that we do, Sprite House probably is going to be just fine and will stay full and functioning because we know the kids we serve in that setting, they need that level of care and they can't always make it in foster care. Sex trafficked kids are another group that traditionally struggle in a family setting, and so that's going to be allowed, you know, in group home settings. And there's a couple other ones that I'm kind of drawing a blank. Do you remember what they are?
Or would it be for some higher behaviors, criminal activities?
Yeah, it could be like more DYS, Division of Youth Services kids could be in a group setting.
And they're gonna evaluate that more often. They're not gonna stay long term, just unconditional.
Yes, right. So yeah, so it's viewed as more. It'll be more scrutinized. So every X amount, 30 days or 60 days, it'll be reviewed to say, should that kid still be in that group setting, or could they go into a home? So there are a couple more exceptions to it, but I can't remember all of them right now. But there's not a huge amount of exceptions.
They're really limiting it.
Yeah, they're really trying to get rid of it. So and we understand that because we know kids really do best in families, and so that makes sense. But at the same time, it's scary because we do have quite a few kids, although it's not as many as it used to be. There's only about maybe a little over 100 last time I looked of kids that are at that group home level of care. So the state has really done a lot of work at trying to reduce the numbers in group home care.
Yeah.
So that's what that Family First legislation is all about. And so you'll be hearing lots about that, and you'll see all of it, everybody in the system really trying to adapt. The court system has to adapt. Therapy has to adapt. Everybody
We're gonna add to this video Carrie. She's gonna discuss how our programs changed a little bit to adapt to that.
Yes, perfect. So Carrie will kind of fill you in on what we're doing. As an agency, what we're trying to do is we're trying to really build on those, we call them auxiliary services, which is sort of an old term, but it's really our therapy program, our life skills program, coaching, community support programs, those programs that really help kids and parents and our adults too stay in the community, stay at that lowest level of care, at home preferably, and really address those behaviors and mental health issues. Could be drug addiction too, those kinds of things that lend to kids coming into care in the first place. So we really want to try to beef up those services so we can be part of that prevention continuum.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are scared almost, and it kind of keeps extra eyes in that home when you have someone coming for therapy and coaching. So it's a really positive thing because so we're trying to balance everything out.
Yeah, exactly. So we're adapting. And that's really, I mean, that's the key. I think that we all know that. We know it about us as people, and we know about that for our clients, and it's true for an organization too. We have to adapt to what kind of the industry is presenting us with, and so that's kind of where we're at today. Yeah.
Well, I know that one of the cool things we do at Ariel is our wellness program.
Yes.
And I know that you've offered it to foster parents.
Yes.
For a couple years now.
Yes.
And I'd love if more got on it, because we've had ones that have gotten tennis shoes and they get gift cards. So do you want to talk about a little bit about wellness?
Yeah, I think part of our whole strategic plan, not only adapting, to these industry changes, is also really trying to make sure our workforce is as healthy as possible and as happy as possible and as positive as possible, because there's so many things out there to just feel like this COVID especially was so hard, and it still is, right? We're still kind of not quite in the thick of it. I hope we're getting in the thin of it, But, we're trying to adjust as we go here. But part of what we really learned, and we've been doing this for a while too, but we really want to just bolster it more, is our wellness program. And we do want to extend it to our foster parents and our foster families too, because you guys are so influential for our kids. It's what your behavior really just has more effect than just about anything. They're really watching. They have this opportunity when they're with you to really see your behavior and see how your family works and see healthy functioning and hopefully some healthy habits like good nutrition. Like right now we have nutrition, I guess it's not bingo, but it's like a challenge where we're all trying different vegetables and fruits and whole grains and
and it's the program isn't really hard challenges.
No.
I mean, it's just really positive influence.
Yes. Yeah, so we're just trying to make it not too difficult, but exposure to maybe some new things to challenge all of us to eat healthier, to move more. This year we're going to really include more financial wellness things and emotional health, all those kind of skills, kind of living skills really that all of us need. So that's what really we hope to get out of our wellness program, and we hope we can share with you guys and incentivize you like you're talking about with prizes, whether it's tennis shoes or gift certificates or whatever, gift cards or stuff like that, just to make it fun. And one of the things that I think we've learned about ourselves at Ariel is we really like competition, we like games, and we like fun as much as possible, because sometimes doing foster care is serious business, right? It can be hard to hear some of the traumatic stories and just our own experiences of being caregivers, and all that can be really taxing. And so we hope that our wellness activities balance some of that hardship with some just fun and positivity. So I'm super excited about it. We won an award actually this past year. We won the Leadership Award for wellness across the state of Colorado.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
So it was really an honor. There's 400 businesses across the state, all kinds of businesses. So it was really an honor that we came in number one. And it was just really, really thrilling that we won that. And we're about to go through a process of strategic planning around wellness specifically, because part of our strategic plan is we want to create what I'm calling the culture of awesomeness. And the culture of awesomeness, I think, to me, it's really embracing not only our mission of making having a safe, nurturing environment, so our people, our clients, our individuals, and our kids and birth parents that we serve, all those populations, so they can thrive. And we focus a lot on safety. We focus a lot on nurturing environments, and we're doing a lot of training around trauma and those kinds of things. But I also want to really focus a little bit more on how do we help people thrive. That to me has a lot to do with the culture of awesomeness. It's like, how do we help that? And not only for the people that we serve, but also for you guys as providers, and also for us as staff too. So I'm really excited to dig down into that a little bit more and just explore it and see what we can build on here to help people really thrive and to help our kids really thrive. I mean,
especially if they're trying to return home more. If you can teach them anything that they can take back with them, any little pieces, whether it's cooking or just having emotional intelligence. So it is really exciting and it's really fun.
It is. It's super.
And we do have a little bit of competition.
We do. So we like that, and I'm just really excited about all the things we get to share with the kids that we serve when we have them. And sometimes we have them for a long time, and sometimes we don't have them for very long at all. But whatever we can help them with is really, it's a great thing. Really exciting.
Awesome. So keeping on with the healthy topic.
Yes.
COVID. Even though it's coming to an end-ish, maybe, hopefully, knock on wood.
Right.
It's still really prevalent in this valley, but also it hits Ariel a little different. And I wanted you to talk about that. We do get questions often like, well, why are you guys still wearing masks?
Mhm.
If you're vaccinated, why do you wear a mask? So
Yes, it really has been, boy, what a ride with COVID. It's been one of the biggest challenges I've had in my whole career. And it's 2 years, right now. And one of the things that's unique about Ariel that's different than I think a lot of foster care agencies and a lot of other businesses for sure, is we're actually classified as a limited healthcare setting. And the reason we are is we serve adults with developmental disabilities, and we also have a pretty big therapy program now. And we didn't always have those programs at Ariel. When I first started, that didn't exist at all. But now that's a big part of really our identity and the services that we provide. Adults, especially with developmental disabilities, have the highest death rate of any population out there, higher than seniors. And seniors, 85-year-olds. I mean,
wow.
Adults with developmental disabilities nationally are really vulnerable. And because of that, there's a lot of regulations and a lot of rules. And we got, I can't even tell you, I want to say over 100 rules that would come out. Like we'd get one a week, or then we'd get 2 a week, and then it would change. And just really massive amounts of regulations that we had to keep up with. And so that's been really challenging, because what we decided was we needed to apply those rules across every program, rather than say, well, this is just for therapy, or this is just for adult program, or this rule is just going to apply for kids, because frankly it was too complicated with a number of rules coming forth to do it that way. So we just said categorically, our mission is to keep people safe, and that means safe from not only abuse and neglect, but it also means health issues too. And so with COVID, our regulations are pretty clear. We have to follow CDC requirements. We have to follow OSHA requirements. And you may remember OSHA for a while there was saying, if you're a big employer, 100 or more employees, and we actually are that big. We have 100, I just looked this up, we have 195 employees right now. So we are a big employer. That's because we have 4 offices. Grand Junction's our biggest office, but Delta, we have an office in Delta, office in Colorado Springs, and an office in Wheat Ridge. And so we're a big employer, so we have to follow those rules. And then we have to follow the rules of healthcare policy and finance, HCPF for short, and that's Medicaid, because Medicaid pays for a lot of our services. And so that's a big influence.
Yeah.
We have to comply with that. And then we also had to comply with local health departments. So all the counties that we're in, we have to follow their requirements. So you can see layer after layer after layer of requirements. And so it is really unique in some ways, because there may be other people even that are coming to your house for foster care. They're like, oh, we don't have to wear masks anymore. We're not doing that. But we have to, because of all these regulatory bodies that we answer to, because we're a multi-service agency. We don't just do foster care. We do all these other things too, which is great.
It is great because we can cross over, and we do, and that's why we need to protect everyone.
Yeah, we really do. So it has been a challenge, and I appreciate everybody's patience, and I appreciate everybody hanging in there with it. I do feel like we're close to the end. But I was just in a state meeting this morning, and everyone's asking, well, when are the mask rules going to change? Well, not yet. They haven't told us yet that we can stop wearing masks. And so we have our masks off right now because we're doing this video, and we want you to be able to understand us. But all of us here at the office continue to still wear masks. We're also continuing to test. And so be assured that, vaccinated or not, people are testing weekly. And with that, I'm so thankful that we're able to do that, because we're really catching quite a few COVIDs. And even right now, right before this video, I got a text, I have COVID. Somebody's, not me, but somebody said that. And, Thankfully, though, with the testing, we're able to catch it right away. So there's not just widespread exposure, because I think probably everybody's hearing that Omicron is the main variant, and it's very contagious. And so it's way more contagious than the Delta was. And I'm so grateful that the kids are really by and far weathering it really well. But some of you know, you may have vulnerable kids in your home too that have significant health issues, and we have to pay attention to that, because we have had some deaths in Mesa County, not in not in foster care, but we've had just some kids out there that have passed because of COVID. And so we just can't minimize it at all. We have to really be very cautious and very strict about it. So again, I appreciate everybody hanging in there with it, and I really just want to say it really just is all about safety and protection. And if we can't be about that, we shouldn't be here. I mean, that's how I feel about it. It's like, if we can't keep kids safe, we just shouldn't be here, so that it's really it's a responsibility that I really take to heart. And I know that our staff does, and I know you guys do too. I mean, you wouldn't be in foster care if you didn't care about kids' well-being. So thank you for hanging in there with it. And we'll let you know when we can change. As soon as we'll change, we will.
You can see our faces fully soon.
Yes, hopefully
Maybe.
we can. Yeah, hopefully we can get. Yeah. I mean, the good news is it really is falling.
It has.
It really is coming down. But like Delta County, and I know we've probably got some Delta parents that are watching us now, you are still in double-digit community contamination numbers, and so that's really pretty risky. And last time I looked, which I want to say was earlier in the week, was for Mesa County, it was still 6.5%, which is yellow. We're not, we're close to green, so hopefully it'll come down and we'll be in the green soon. But still, 6.5% is still a lot.
Yeah, and we, if you have to track down one person being in contact, especially here with visits and therapy, it branches off very quickly.
It does.
So
right.
We do help avoid the spread.
Yeah, we really are trying to avoid. Trying to keep everybody in the community safe. Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned therapy. I don't want to put you on the spot, but
that's okay.
I mean, we're Medicaid providers, and when we think of therapy, I'm sure a lot of our homes think, okay, I bring my foster kid to the Ariel therapist because they are foster through Ariel. But that's not the case. We have clients from all over the valley, right?
We do. And now that's been a change too, really, since COVID. We started out with one therapist, then we added another one, and really now we have 4 full-time therapists that work with kids. And then we've got 2 over in the adult program. So we've got a total of 6 therapists now, which is pretty big. And for some of you who have been reading in the paper, there's a lot going on with mental health in Mesa County in particular, where Mine Springs is really in crisis mode. They've been having a very hard time keeping up with the volume of mental health care that's needed in our valley. And so we're all really trying to step up to the plate and fill in gaps. And so for us, we started to not only serve kids that are in foster care or involved in the child welfare system, but we also started to take referrals from other places, again, to be more preventative, hopefully. So if parents were coming forth and saying, oh, I'm really having a hard time, or my kid's having a hard time, we tried to take those referrals too. So we've been getting a lot of referrals from pediatricians and from the schools, and just lots of different places. So it really is a lot broader now than what it's been, which again is also super exciting. I mean, we're really glad to be able to do that and really happy to do that. And we're seeing a lot, and you guys are probably seeing this too in your homes with some of the kids that you work with, is that especially during COVID, a lot of kids have really struggled. I mean, all of us have, but for kids, it's been a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression and just fear about getting sick, maybe fear about what's going on with their loved ones. So it's been really important to be able to support kids through therapy.
Yeah, it has, and it's so great that it's grown, and
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, I want to thank you, and I don't know if you have any words of wisdom for our foster parents or any thoughts, but thank you for talking with us, and you are always so great about sharing and opening. Like, you're the CEO, and you always give us weekly updates, and so we really try to communicate, and we want to communicate with foster parents. So
yeah, thank you. And thank you guys. I mean, foster care I don't think will ever go away, because there's always situations and always families where it's too dangerous for kids to be home. There's too much risk. And so even though with Family First, our referrals may get smaller, I don't know yet. We'll have to see how it evolves over the next 3 years. But I feel like there really is such a demand, and I really appreciate all of you as foster parents. I appreciate your hearts. I appreciate your commitment to kids in our community, to our community itself. It's such an important role, and I hope you know how much we appreciate you here at Ariel, and I hope you feel some love from the community too. I think sometimes, people don't know what to say about foster care, but it really is such a service, and so thank you so much, and thank you for being at Ariel. We couldn't do it without you.
No, we couldn't.
Yeah.
We have some pretty great parents.
Yeah, so
Well,
that's
thank you.
awesome. Thank you, Christy.
That's it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey, Ariel foster parents. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Hannah.
We wanted to come here today to just talk to you guys about some of our new roles. So I am now the placement supervisor. What that means is I'm going to be the one calling you when we get placement calls. A couple of things about me. I have worked at Ariel for, 9 years, 10 years, a long time. I've done some different roles. I've been a case manager, I've been a lead, and now I'm in this supervisor role. So not only do I do placement calls, but I also supervise all of the case managers, both our case managers here in the Grand Junction area, as well as in our Delta Montrose area. So I just wanted to introduce myself and let you have a face to who is calling you on kiddos.
And I'm Hannah Schilling, so I believe most of you guys know me from Parenting Time. But I have recently taken over a new position we created this past December, and it's the Child and Family Support Services Program Manager. So really I am overseeing our Parenting Time program, our Community Supports program, aka our Youth Mentors, and then our Foster Care program. We decided to make this move from FFPSA, which you'll hear a little bit more about that from Carrie over, and why we kind of moved forward in combining services and combining the powers to be, because we know that our families need support. So really our goal for this next year is to kind of amp up our support for you guys, to amp up support for our birth homes, and really just our kids, to make sure they're in a safe space until they can either reunify or move forward with adoption or guardianship or whatever that might look like for them. So that's our initial goals. That's kind of why we've done some restructuring, but both Sarah and I are here. I've been with Ariel for 13 years, going on 14, so we are familiar with a lot of you, but I do have some new families that I'm not familiar with, so I'm happy to learn about you and from you. I think you guys just provide some great resources for our kids. So we kind of just wanted to talk about a few other programming things. We will be sending out a survey here shortly, really kind of identifying some needs that we're seeing. So I'll let Sarah jump into the placement stuff, but the piece I wanted to talk about is how can we support you guys? What does it look like right now for your case management? Are you feeling supported? Are there things that we could be doing differently? Do you need more support, less support? Do we drive you guys crazy? How's things working with extended reach? So that will all be on the survey. We're also going to talk about potentially having some foster parent mentors. So you as foster parents reaching out to other foster parents that may be new to this, and how you can support them through the placement process or adoption, or maybe you just have a really tough kid and they just need a listening ear. So really, those are some of our goals coming up. That's all going to be in that survey, and then let Sarah jump in with the placement piece.
So we're going to also be asking you about what kind of placements you would be interested in taking. Right now with FFPSA, a lot of changes have come down from the federal level to the state level, and we're seeing that at our local level as well. So families are getting more preventative services to try to help reduce the number of kids in foster care. While that is really, really positive, it also means that the kids that are coming into foster care are starting to have some more challenging behaviors than what we've had in the past. We also are seeing a trend of older kids. So I'm getting a lot of calls about teenagers who need a home. Unfortunately, right now, we just don't have a lot of foster homes that are willing to take teens. And so in this survey, we're going to be asking you, would you be willing to take teens, and what support would you need in order to do that? So please, when you see that survey come in your email, please take a minute and give us some really helpful notes. We want to make this program supportive of you guys. We know that fostering is so hard, and we want to be here to support you. So please give us that feedback on how we can support you in different ways. Like Hannah said, either if we're too much or maybe not enough, whatever that looks like for your family, please let us know. The other thing I just wanted to touch on too is that for some of you that are newer, when you are getting placement calls, please try to give us a call back as soon as you can. I totally get that you guys, some of you are working, and so if text is easier for you to reply to, text is okay too. I want to reassure everyone that if we call you on placement for a child and it's not a good fit for your home, that is okay. That is 100% okay.
Absolutely.
Even if the answer is that no, I don't think that child is a good fit, please try to get back to us as soon as you can. It just helps us kind of move along in our process and move on to other homes. We have not had a lot of emergency or middle of the night placements, but if you ever do get a call in the middle of the night or after hours, please try to respond to those ones as well, because the same thing, it just helps us move on in our process of, okay, if we know this, these homes don't want that placement, we can kind of move on to other options. So just wanted to ask you guys to just help us with that piece.
We're really excited for moving forward. I know there's going to be a lot of changes coming down with the FSPSA, and our goal is to keep you guys informed. Carrie has been working on this since, really the start of all of it, which was almost 2.5, 3 years ago. Yeah. So we will do our best to keep you guys updated. If there's specific questions that you have, please ask. If we don't have those answers, we will try to find out for you guys. We aren't sure what the future is going to hold, but again, we just want to be here and be part of this, build the relationships between you guys and birth parents, and we know that it's just better support for our kids. So anything that we can do to help accommodate that, please let us know. We're happy to discuss that as well. All right. Have a great month, you guys, and we will see you next month.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, hi everybody.
Hi everybody, how are you? So last but not least, I think you guys have heard from Becky, our CEO, Hannah, our new foster care, family. Children and family. Yes.
It's a new one. We're still learning.
Well, we're still learning. And then Sarah Spazzo's new position.
Yes.
So now you've got the good old standbys.
They were still doing what we do.
We're doing what we do. Kathy McCoy and carryover. So Kathy is now in charge of marketing, and I am still the deputy director here on the Western Slope.
Yep.
And I bet you're all just dying to know what that means. Okay, maybe you're not dying to know what that means.
I am. What does that mean?
Well, what that means is with Kathy's marketing position, she not only is marketing for foster homes, host homes, staff, she is actually branding and marketing Ariel as a great place to be. And what can we do to be better? What can we do to stand out? How do we keep our integrity of that smaller agency, but yet grow so that we have the resources to expand what we do? Is she still that first point of contact when you guys recommend a foster home should go with Ariel? Yes, Kathy is going to be the first one they talk to. She's going to be the one that holds their hands through the process until we get to that next step where she hands them off.
I enjoy that piece. I enjoy getting to know the families and helping them through the process. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I do enjoy that piece.
Navigating that process is how we lose a lot of good potential foster parents.
It's a lot.
So it's a lot. But anyway, she's still here for you guys. She's still here with questions. I'm still here. I know a lot of you don't know me anymore, so hopefully this gives a chance to get to know me just a little bit. What I've been doing that probably most has the potential to affect your fostering is a federal legislation called FFPSA.
We've heard a lot about that. We've heard it for years, it
Years.
seems like. And now you're going to tell us what it actually means for us.
Today.
Today. Maybe different tomorrow.
What it means today. So FFPSA is Families First Preventative Services Act. So what that means is, without getting too mucked down in it, what it means is the feds gave everybody that does fostering, gave us monies called 4E funds. Those 4E funds were to just help kids in out-of-home placement. It was a subsidy that the county could use to give us to help with our services. Well, the feds decided that as of 2018, this was enacted, but it really wasn't adopted until October of last year. I'm sorry, 2021. What that means for us is all those dollars now go into preventative services. They no longer help without a home. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
A lot of our adoptive families are familiar with the term 4E for their subsidy. So
right,
yeah.
right, exactly. And so for years now, you guys, I have been involved in legislative language, sit on quite a few boards with attorneys that have language that is so over my head or anybody else's head. I'm not sure they even know what it means. So really just trying to bring a common language that people might understand. That has been my role at those meetings. Flying to Denver, being parts of focus groups, and usually being kind of the squeaky wheel. I know, for those of you who do know me, surprising, right? Shocking.
Whatever.
But anyway, I just, I hope that makes some sense. So it really, as with a lot of things in life, Kath, it starts with the almighty buck. So
and ends there.
And ends. Yeah. So are we thinking that this act is going to hurt us? Not necessarily. I mean, it has the potential to help us, but what we're going to have to do is change our mindset. We're going to have to change our mindset that fostering is no longer a way to have kiddos adopt, never see their birth families again. I think those days are over.
Yeah.
Counties are going to be a lot more careful removing kids, and being careful to you and I may look like careless, unfortunately. And the reason I say that is because I think it's going to look to us like why didn't they remove those kids months ago?
Yeah.
Or wow, they left those kids in that home so long somebody got hurt.
Yep.
We're really, really, really hopeful that that's the just minority of cases. Like that's not going to be the norm. The norm is going to be, we're going to put services in these birth homes. We're going to put services in these kin homes so that these kids can stay with their families.
So services like food stamps, housing, employment, coaching, is that the kind of services? So that and some of the stuff that Ariel already offers. Okay.
So our coaching program, So for instance, getting a coach in that home that can maybe take the kiddos out for for activities while the family, the parents, you know, do what they need to do to get done to run a household.
Okay.
It may look like life skills. You know, life skills comes to mind. We get a life skills coach in there, and that helps the parents. Okay, I've had my kids removed, they're back, but guess what? I don't even know how to have time to make a dinner. I don't know how have time to write out my bills. How does all that coordination work? Especially now, maybe that I'm sober. You know, maybe I've never been sober since I've had children.
Yeah, okay.
And what does that look like with my sobriety? So really a lot, counseling, our therapy program.
Okay.
Families are going to need family therapy. There are going to be times where they're going to need individual therapy. So a lot of the services that we already
Okay.
provide, I think.
What does that mean? How's it going to affect foster care? How's it going to affect these guys?
Yeah, absolutely, you guys. I think we have some foster parents that I really, really hope will help us further explore this as we get through this year, because we have foster parents that have been doing this for a number of years. We have foster parents that don't even know they do it. They just naturally do it. And what that means in a nutshell is mentor those birth parents. You no longer have just the foster child in your home. I'm not saying figuratively you have the whole family in your home,
Right.
but you need to adopt that whole family. You need to go into this with a new mindset, a mindset of how am I helping the family, not just how am I helping the child.
Okay. So I've always said we want kids with their birth parents if mom and or dad can be healthy. So this is just another step in the perfect world where you meet them in the lobby, you have that conversation, you bring coloring to the kids, and you just keep cultivating that relationship. And we've seen some really cool stories come from that, where the relationship made can last.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, with some of our foster parents that just already do this seamlessly, we've seen things all the way from birth mom got the kiddos back, birth mom knew she couldn't do it, did not trust the system, the county, us, whoever, but trusted that foster mom. Called that foster mom and said, I can't do this, you need to come get this baby. And they did, and they adopted, and guess what? Mom is still a little bit of their life when she can be, but that baby is being raised by our foster family as her own.
You will hear more of that story, Building Your Village, in August. So make sure to have a little trailer for that.
little plug for Building Your Village.
But I can always refer to the perfect world. If we can make that relationship happen between foster parents and birth parents, it's only good for everybody.
It is.
It really is.
And then really even I've seen it in so many ways, you guys, but I've seen it with the really young birth parents. And really you are mentoring them. I mean, it does feel, some of these birth parents are so young, it does feel like you've taken placement of the of them as well, because they're just, you know, maybe they're 21, but emotionally they're 15, 14, and they're these babies are having babies, and really it's just kind of a natural, as all of you are natural caregivers, all of you have a heart for this anyway, or you wouldn't be doing this. It tugs at your heart. It's like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to raise this baby because they clearly can't, but I'm going to help raise them. You know, have you ever looked into a trade college? Have you ever looked into finishing your GED? Have you, you know, just some of those things that
who else is going to tell them?
Who else is going to tell them? Yeah. Absolutely. So that's how I feel it will be different, you guys. I think we are going to see a lot harder kiddos, meaning their behaviors are going to be harder. Their histories might be a little harder to hear.
Because they're not removing them as quickly or as soon as they should.
Absolutely, Kath. Yeah.
It's just an unfortunate
byproduct. I do think we're going to see that. So again, you guys, don't be afraid when Sarah calls you on those placements. Don't be afraid of trying it. But what I need you to do, I need to empower you to ask for help.
Yes.
You know, it's like I think I could try this kiddo, but I'm going to need coaching. I'm going to need transportation in the morning. I'm going to need 3 days a week. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for your family, don't be afraid to ask.
Absolutely. Don't say no. Say, well, what about?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Don't say no. Say yes if.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
If I have these supports. And, you know, I've heard so many people over the years say, well, why should I go with Ariel? Why shouldn't I go with the county? Because now I just have another case manager. I just have another person that visits. This is why, you guys.
You've got
this
all
is why.
the extras
Yeah.
to
So
support.
so use us as that, you know, don't just use us as another visit. Good grief. Use us as, what am I going to need to support these kiddos in my home? What am I going to need for their success and for my success? We want you guys to be successful. You know, this is my old great grandma saying, and yes, it you know, maybe it's lost traction, but if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. And if daddy's not happy, nobody's happy. So I need you guys to be a functioning, fun, mostly happy unit, or these really traumatized kids are going to come in and they're going to break down that house of cards.
For sure.
They just are. So let us help you, whatever you need to build that foundation.
So I'm supposed to ask you how you have been involved with this what is FFPSA?
Absolutely, it's a tongue twister.
It is.
And you know, really, it's been, you know, like I mentioned, it's been from the legislative writing the law, all the way up to, you know, these court improvement, sitting on court improvement and hearing what the judges piece of this is, and how they will be returning kids sooner, how they will be hearing cases more often that seem to be stuck.
Oh, okay.
You know, your structured parenting time, I've been involved with a lot of that and how that needs to look so that we can move these cases forward faster. It's taken up a lot of time. Now that's with Ariel and foster parenting. There's a whole big piece of FFPSA that involves our group homes. And so since Ariel owns Sprite House and I oversee that, and Ariel also helps with Blue River, used to be Daisy as well, there's been a whole lot of work at the group home, because actually FFPSA would like to eradicate all group home level of care. Again, that affects you guys how? Well, because without that group home level of care, where a lot of our tougher kids will go, guess who they're going to be calling? So, anyway, guys, it seems like
what is Ariel doing though to get ready for this change? What is our foster care team? What does that look like for us?
Yeah, no, great question. And I think, you know, hopefully Hannah and Sarah answered a little of that, because really Hannah's new position being overarching the coaching program, SPT, foster care, it seems like a really huge job. It is, but it's more of an oversight job, knowing that all those pieces have to fit together in order to make this work. So knowing that if we have a foster home that really needs a coach in there more than what we have, you know, she will be the conduit that says, hey, we have to approve this, we have to negotiate that rate, we have to ask for evidence-based programming. They want the people that pay us, they want us to have a lot of evidence-based programming. That's not always easy to find. You know, it doesn't always fit the box of what we need in our community.
Right.
So, you know, so Hannah is charged with, okay, what can that service look like? What does that look like in your home? Is it different in everybody's home? Maybe it is.
Could be, yeah.
You know?
She kind of sees the big picture of all the moving parts. Make sure that it keeps moving.
Yeah, and it's kind of reminds you of the boy with his fingers in the holes in the dike. If there's another hole, then we're looking to fill that as well.
Okay.
If it's something that Ariel believes we can do well, then throw it out there, guys. If you've heard of something or you've seen something that works, boy, let us know.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we're willing to try it.
Okay.
So.
All right.
All right, guys.
Well, you know where to find us.
Yes, we're here. Take care, everybody. Thanks again.